G'day, Doggies fans. Before we get into the video or the podcast, check out our competition sponsor, Footyhead. It's footyhead.com.au. They've got a bunch of special limited edition Vegas shirts where all teams are represented. Go to their website, check out all their different awesome shirts from small through to 5XL. Check out footyhead.com.au. Now it's time to enjoy the podcast. Check it out. Let's go. G'day, Doggies fans, all things Bulldogs. Welcome to the podcast, Summer Edition, Episode 5. And we've got Gas with us again and already 15 people waiting. Sorry we took a while. We know we've had some tech issues, but looks like me and Gas can hear each other again. We're back together. How you going, brother?
Good, mate. How you doing?
Good. I thought you just froze for a second then. I went, oh, no.
I'm all good.
We're all good. No delays tonight. Welcome. G'day to everybody. Kangaroo Killer, Timmy, and James Famosa. Welcome to you and welcome to everyone who's joined the podcast. What are we doing tonight, Gas? What's happening? Give me the agenda, brother.
Mate, we're gonna have a look at a couple of things in regards to breaking down Gus's comments. Having a look at how we're tracking for our first trial. Getting ready for Vegas, so first and second trial, and also you're probably going to give us an update on Footyhead competition, guys. See how we're going. We're also going to launch a brand new weekly segment, so get ready for that. And there's going to be a few other stats and insights and things in that new segment that you'll be seeing as well. So be ready for all that. And plus, there's many more things that we're going to be doing as well. So keep your questions coming and welcome all aboard.
All right. Well, people, I hope you've had a good day. And had a great long weekend. As I said yesterday, great time of year to have a long weekend. And I hope we see more of it. But yeah, we'll get straight into it. Lots to talk about. We've got Gus has made some, talked about Gordon Cam Chong. I can't even talk now. But Matty Burton, Kay Dykes, Leo Thompson, Finau Latu again, and we also I saw another rumor coming around about Tino on some profile page that I think it's called 80 Minutes or something. Hadn't seen them before, but they were talking about that. And this basically got Tino in half a Roosters jersey and half a Bulldogs jersey, which, look, if he ends up at the Bulldogs, I'm not going to do anything naked because it wouldn't be good for me, but it'd be worse for everybody else. But I'd have to do something. But Bulldog Mike, welcome to you, bro. Good to see you, and thank you so much for supporting us all the time. Thanks to everybody who's a member. Much appreciated. But guys, look, I know we get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of views, sometimes over 1,000, sometimes more. Let's like this. Make sure we like and subscribe. If we're not, make sure that we if you want to support more, like lots of people have been doing and really, really appreciating it, become a member and join as well. And welcome, Caveman Kev. Good to see you, and thank you as well for your contributions as well. Now, Gas will have his shirt tomorrow, but myself and Pete from All Things Bulldogs, I already have one of these, but I got my second one. So it's the Viva Los Belmore shirt. You can win one of these shirts in the competition. We need more entries in. The people who get their entries in closer to the start will be prioritised for a shirt, but everybody will go into the draw for a further prize. Not sure what that is yet. Could be a book, could be some Dogfather merch and some other stuff as well. Who knows? We may even get another shirt from Footyhead if I plead hard enough. But really good quality T-shirts. Gus will be able to tell you that next week. really great feel. And, you know, US sizing. So 3XL fits me great, but I wear a 7XL under the O'Neill jersey sizing. So just to give you an idea. But beautiful shirt, really, really comfy. And all you got to do is, what do you got to do to join the comp? Gas, you tell me.
Go on to the Dogfather Media, guys. You got to click on Seraldo's Best 17 and go on there and just name your team. Pull out your little crystal ball and name your team. What do you think is going to be the team from 1 to 17? The ones who get best or closest or exact with the exact numbers will be very close to winning. If it's a tie break, then like Michael said, we'll go back to the 1, 2 or the first to enter based on the timestamp. Welcome, Jack. Good to see you again, mate.
Beautiful. Great to see you, Jack. And
G'day, Pete. Nice shirt, mate. Saw that on the site, mate.
What?
Looking good.
Welcome, Jason. Good to see you back here, mate. And you're getting real itchy there, bro. And thank you for being a member. And I think, Jack's got his book. So, Jack, obviously, James Teasdale's been contributing in Super Chats a lot. We really appreciate it. And I made that call that if we get to $50 in Super Chats, those who I'll do a draw from the people who do it, and then they'll win a book. Well, on the one night, Jack and Jamie got us over the line with $50, and Jamie's donated way more than that over a period of time. So actually, sorry, not Jamie, James. I went and met James in person. Passionate Bulldog supporter, loves the dogs. Got a little Frenchie as well, called Two-Patch, like two-pack. Great dad, and it was an absolute pleasure to meet you, James. So thank you so much, mate. And you as well, Jack. Thank you so much for joining the channel and helping us out. And I hope you enjoy that book. We might even do a book club or something one day where we talk about maybe a couple of chapters in the book, just as part of giving people an understanding, see how that goes. But yeah, really, some really good things happening. But make sure, okay, that you go to the Dogfather page on Facebook and follow it. All right. You know, we've got 2,000 subscribers here on All Things Bulldogs podcast. We've got thousands of members of All Things Bulldogs. We've got thousands of groups we're a part of. Go and follow the Dogfather page. You're guaranteed to get Bulldogs-focused content with none of the bullshit. Yeah, we'll ask questions. We speculated about Leo Thompson because we saw that he was training with a rehab group. It was a fair question. But we framed it without any outrage or without any sort of urgency. And then as soon as Gus clarified it, we went out there and told everyone. It's the same with the Birdo news. It's the same with Cade Dykes. We'll get in first. You'll see the media in about 3 days. We'll talk about what Gus said 5 days ago. It's like a newspaper. It's out of date by the time you read it. So, yep, beautiful. Love that, mate. Absolutely brilliant. And thank you so much for the super chat as well. And thank you again, James. And it really helps. And look, if we get to $50 again tonight, I'll do a draw for some merch. I've got another signed book there as well. But I'll have to keep them coming. And they're pretty popular, those books on Amazon. They're constantly selling for the rugby league coach. So, and he's not NRL aligned, guys. Like, this coach isn't constrained by the limits of the NRL. You know, he's running programs for kids and he's doing so many things and he's coaching coaches. Me and him disagree on 75% of things. But that's why we're good mates, because we understand where we're coming from. And I am a one-eyed Bulldog supporter. We all are. Welcome to Babel and Rebecca Hinton. Welcome to you as well. Thank you for saying hello.
Welcome.
So, yes, follow the Dog Father, but just as importantly, follow Footyhead on Facebook and on Instagram if you can do both. One or the other's fine. Try to do both if you can. And that would be really great. Steve's a passionate Bulldog supporter and he's doing these shirts. And as I said, if you've got an idea for a shirt, let us know or let Steve know. Send him a message and you might come up with a great idea as something that you would like to see on a shirt in relation to the Bulldogs that other people might love as well. So be a part of it. Be a part of it. Not promising anything. Like, I'm not speaking for Steve in that, but I'm sure a great idea is always an opportunity for people. You know what I mean? So, good stuff. Good stuff. So, what are we going to talk about now, Gas? You pick it.
Mate, let's go into Gus, mate. Let's have a look at the stuff he's been saying, mate.
All righty. So, Gus, straight away, let's talk about Leo Thompson. Gus has said if Leo Thompson was to play, if we were to play the game tomorrow, Leo Thompson would be named and he would play. So, tick, box ticked. G'day, Brock. I've never met a kid who could give me 74 fist pumps in a row at full pelt. My fist was getting sore at the end of it. Like I was like, I'm not going to give in to a young'un. All of it, yeah, great kid. He could tell how much he loves his dad as well.
Welcome, Brock.
He's just a Shark supporter. That's the only problem with him. I would have, but you got to train him up. Got to train him up real good. But look, guys, Leo Thompson, tick. He's on the plane. He's going. Speculation done. Next player, Cade Dykes, got a bit of tendonitis in his knee. Gus has downplayed it, after playing 9 games since 2022. That's all he's played. I mean, he'll have criticism of that. He's on a 1-year deal. It's the Opportunity Club. He's a great talent, and he was absolutely way too good for New South Wales Cup. And if he can get that right, the same guy working with Leo, the same guy is working with Critter, the same guy is working with Cade Dykes, is getting these guys ready for long-term careers and rehabilitated the right way, and he's making a big name for himself. Johnny Lang's other son, not Martin, but Justin. He's doing a great job.
There is a good thing as well. It's actually the other knee as well. It's not his actual knee, not the one that he had the surgery on. So that is a good thing as well. And also, Brock, we know you're a Dolphins fan, mate. They were about Michael with his Sharks. We know you're a Dolphins fan, so don't be upset, mate. It's all good. You go for your Dolphins, mate.
Oh, sorry, James. He's a mammal, not a fish. I forgot. Dolphin, sharks, they all swim. I'm in trouble now. I'll tell you what. My knuckles are still sore from the other day. I'll probably get a sore arm next time I see him. Dyke's knee is his good knee, not his injured one. Yeah, thank you, Pete. Pete's always on the ball.
You know what that looks like from here? It looks like the old hey, mate. It looks like Dickie Knee.
Oh, Dickie Knee from Hey, it's Saturday. With my old haircut, I used to actually look a bit like that. But anyway. Timmy's got an idea for a shirt. Oh, we keep pressing it, do we? You press it. You go. There you go. Oh, wrong one. Go back to Timmy.
There you go.
Something like the El Magic Bulldogs. Well, there you go. Like, I've got plenty of ideas, but anyway, I made my own little canvas called Club First Legends, and my first one I did was Stephen Folkes, a player, people who put the club first, legends of the club that always put the club first, and he's definitely the epitome of that. Lots of things we can do. I'd love the Bulldogs to do a Legends range. just focusing on the past players and different things that they could do. But the problem is, that you probably need to research these things, come up with find out how many people would actually commit to buying, because that's the biggest cost with a lot of things is getting a minimum number of stuff you got to sell. But the way we're going, we seem to sell out and everything. And the Vegas range came out today as well. Gas, did you get a look at that?
Yeah, had a look at that. Looks good.
Mm.
And you would have seen the nice black training tee for Vegas came out last week, and it was sold out very quickly as well. So
is it sold out, the neon tee?
The original offering that was there was sold out on the first night. I think they've since started taking pre-orders, and then now they've started putting some more stock out there. But for all those people initially who were sort of a little bit unsure about the new logo, I think they've started to come around. So there's been quite a few little statistics and people doing some surveys out there, and the numbers have definitely switched from people's initial sort of liking of the new logo to how it is now. 2 months down the track. So it's a positive sign. But if stuff is selling out with that, I know it's black, and black's very popular for a lot of people. But it's a good sign.
Yeah, look, I think that I like that neon stuff, and I think in a range of like the normal sort of stuff they make, like the hoodies, like a couple of those I call them scam sites, because like people will order from there and get some of that merch they're making, but there will be people who'll get scammed, like they won't get their stuff and then they'll never see their money again and stuff like that. But if you go through PayPal, you generally can get things back. You just need to double check. But I actually liked that neon sort of over the black in a whole different, like in hoodies and jackets and all that sort of stuff. I think that would look awesome. Some people were going on about how it was us being like satisfying people who are gay. I'm not. We got people that backward that a man can't wear a bit of pink. You know what I mean? I reckon it looks great.
For those who weren't sure, it was actually just the color scheme for Las Vegas.
Yes,
it was nothing to do with any of the other stuff and all that. It was basically just the color scheme that they use in Vegas is exactly what they've used. They've just matched it for the occasion, for the theme, and everything else. So if you look at the color palette for Vegas, that's exactly where it matches in there as well. It's got nothing else to do with anything else. So for those who were sort of thinking it might have been something else, it's not.
Yeah.
But yeah, the new Bulldogs one that they've done does look really good. So for those who haven't had a look, go in there and have a look. The new range looks pretty good. It's come up really nice. Some pretty bold ones and really good ones. So go in there and have a look at the Bulldog site. Obviously, as much as you can, support the original stuff on the Bulldog site. So it's really good.
And that's it, guys. We're promoting Footyhead, and he's doing some special edition Vegas stuff for Bulldogs and some other sides. But at the same time, we want to promote what the club's doing even more so, because the club comes first for us as well. So that's why we're not just going to push our own stuff whenever we do it. And even in Dogfather Media, there's heaps of links to the Bulldogs site, because ideally for me, the Bulldogs will just get better and better at this social media stuff, at this media stuff. They have got better and better every year. They're covering so many bases across all the different media sites, catering to different age groups as well with their content. And, there's something for everyone, which is something I'm really passionate about. And the more that we can do, like getting ahead of the game with things, and that's just going to give ideas to the club, and then the club might do that and get better out of it. And that's what I'd love to see. Like, really, the end goal for me is the club everybody just goes to the club's website, and they don't need to go anywhere else. And their questions are answered. They understand stuff. And how great is it to have someone like Gus who's just answering stuff on Twitter, and being pretty transparent about it. You know, I made a comment about Shane Flanagan on the Dragons podcast with that young bloke. You know, basically saying that Farley and this other guy from the Warriors, I think Sue or someone, I forget his name, they're going good, and they'll be the wingers for their side. Now, everyone in there, all the experts are saying that, it's Tua Pilato is one of the wingers, and I think they're saying Terrell Sloan and it would be the other one. But these two kids who have come in are going to. He's basically said they're in front. They've got the front running. He's told the whole fan base that, like, I love that sort of stuff, and the more that obviously got to keep some things up your sleeve, you know, and that comes back to the criticism Gus gets for when he does answer it. He's damned if he does or damned if he doesn't. You know, if he answers, we're chasing Galvin. Well, he's got a $75,000 fine and could lose his job as the head of football for breaching anti-tampering rules. But not answering it, he's got Michael Chammas there trying to make out like and Buzz trying to make out like he's deceiving the fucking world deliberately. So you can't win, really. And I talked about it last night as well. So there's so many things. If anything they can be transparent about, we're seeing more and more of it, and it's great for us. And to me, when all these were coming from Gus, and great work to all the people who asked questions of Gus yesterday as well. Really thank those people. If anyone on this watching this podcast was one of those people, thank you so much, because it's just helping build the excitement, and you know, and it's given us reason to believe in the depth and to see the depth of the whole thing. Obviously, they've got to go out and do it on the football field, but it's just helping with that excitement. I don't know what other people think. What do you think about that?
Yeah, mate, it's good, mate. It's you know, he's got a responsibility there. I mean, he's obviously got all the information, and he has to be very selective. So a lot of times, yes, people might think he's being cryptic or he's being something, but he sometimes has to be very careful about certain situations. There might be things he can or can't talk about. So he tries to just calm everyone down, because everyone sometimes gets a bit hyper. You know, like the Burden situation is one easy one where everyone was jumping up and down, and someone's putting it out there that Burden wants to go here or do there. So he's a Bulldog. You just calm everyone down. But there's times when, like you've said in the past, there's players that are doing negotiations. He really can't discuss that situation until they sign with someone else or they're doing something. They're still a Bulldog. It's like anything else. You're still there until you're not there. So he has to be transparent on that front, but he can't sit there and say this person is negotiating with someone else until it's all over. But having all that access to Gus and having those questions answered, it just gives people a little bit of peace of mind at times, because we're all very excited about the Bulldogs the last few years, and everyone's jumping on there. Everybody wants content. They want to keep some information. Hence why we've been going through non-stop with this podcast since the season's finished, because we want to give you that information. We want to keep things going. And before you know it, guys, we're all going to be watching games and talking about footy. So, you know, it's less than a couple of weeks away. We have our first trial on the 7th of February out at Cogra. And then the following week on Valentine's Day, our full team will be lining up against Newcastle in Newcastle on the 14th. So all that information, everything that comes is there for a reason, to keep everyone engaged. Yes, it's a winter sport, or it comes through that time of year, but for us, it's a 360. We want the information all the way around, all the time. Yeah. We're all hungry for it. We're all passionate. That's why we're all here. That's why you're all listening and paying all your hard-earned money to support the team in whichever way you can, and all that drive. So, yeah, that's what I think, buddy.
Beautiful. Well said, Gas. And I will add to it, the reason that Dogfather Media has evolved and we've got the website and you're seeing all these articles coming out is, look, it's a little bit of a case if you can't beat them, join them. But at the end of the day, I want people to see that you don't need that media from Fox and even Channel 9 and that. Like sometimes they will reveal things because they've spoken directly to someone, but most of the time it's self-serving narrative. And the difference is that Dogfather Media is serving the Bulldogs fans and the Bulldogs themselves. I'm not going to sit there and make articles basically to say that the negative stuff about the club. What do we need to do that? What we need to do, what we actually do, is we're trying to give people the facts as they are, and the narratives, and sometimes alternate narratives for people to sit there and go, okay, well, it's not all doom and gloom. It's not all. It's not that big of a deal. It isn't. The media are contradicting themselves here. The media have got a job to do, and we're happy for them to do it. But what we want to do is encourage them to do more positive media. And, I've got a couple of mates in, in both camps, right, of the mainstream. And it's very hard to do that. But if you're in a Facebook group and if you're getting all your stuff from the one area and you're not seeing all this negative Fox stuff, you can sort of come to your own conclusions without them helping you along the way. And because all they want you to do is to click on their article and be outraged and to keep doing it. I would suggest check out some of these Dogfather Media articles. A lot of them I do on Zero Tackle as well. And you can see it. You don't have to be go to Harvard and spend years becoming a journalist to write the crap that they write. Journalism's supposed to have integrity. It's supposed to be like that, and yeah, so check it out. Give it a try. Most people I've found have thought the article was good. And I also take it as a compliment when people go, oh, this is just more Fox Sports rubbish. They read the headline and don't read the article. That's almost like a compliment because it's just saying that, if I can do it, anyone can start to it. And I would actually, if people like writing and doing anything like that and want to write some stuff about players they love or even ex-players that they loved and put it out there, talk about the time when you went and watched Steve Mortimer play and write it into a piece in an article, send it through, post it on a page. Talk about the old days if you're a Barry supporter. There's a whole heap of fans who love it and want to hear that stuff and want to hear that content and want to hear those stories. So you can share the history of the club with people and people. Not everyone cares about it. A lot of kids couldn't give two shit. They'll see it and go, oh, there's 5 words in that. I'm not reading that, But there's a whole bunch of people our age and around our age who love to read things and look forward to seeing the news and the paper every day and all that sort of stuff. Get in there, support it, and enjoy it. Because, yeah, I sometimes will find out some things, and I won't always talk about it. Yeah, but some things we can talk about. There's things that we can debate and speculate about. There's all that, but we do it in a professional, constructive, and hopefully an interesting way. And that's what we want to do. So thanks to everyone who's
to the players.
Without making people feel like they're, they have to turn off all social media and can't even look at it to protect their families and stuff. Like for some, it's been absolutely horrible, and the media have got no accountability to it whatsoever. But we all know that they do get a lot of training in how to deal with that, the players and their families as well, and how to sort of exist beyond that and not let that worry them or sort of penetrate their life. So the club does a lot of work around that, and so does the NRL. But, we can play our part by sometimes just holding back a little bit and going, do I really need to go and criticise Gus because Burton signed elsewhere? Like, do I really need to do that and tell everyone that Gus is shit? Or maybe I can just be like, knew that was going to happen, but told you so, whatever. You can keep it you don't have to be so horrible with it. You know, and I've been there. I've been that person before as well, guys. No one's perfect, but we can get better. We can support better as we get along. So, Timmy, he says we're authentic. Thank you very much. Peter Bulldogs. Oh, g'day, Peter. And up the Wiggles, Peter. That one's for you, brother. Hey, boys, up the Dogs. Can't wait for the season to start, and I really hope Cherry Dogs better this year than last year. What do you think? Look, I think Cherry did pretty well last year. It was harder for him, Pete, because he lost the Fox. The Fox helped out Cherry a lot. And we also had a lot of times where that edge was changed a fair bit. But, you know, but when you got Birdo and Kickow and Cherry and Montoya all together and they get used to what they're doing, Cherry goes off. And remember that try he got against the Roosters? What a great try that was to help us win that game. But we love Bronson Cherry.
Hey? The try against Manly where he carried Travojevic over the line.
What a try that was. You know,
from 10 metres out, he carried them all.
Loved his defence last year too, Bronson.
Yes.
Thought he was really very good in defence.
Yeah.
Keen to see what the reserve grade team will do this year too. Well, speaking about that, we will spoke again to a New South Wales Cup player that will be coming on to the podcast at some point. Maybe not live. We'll see what happens, but there'll be a video. We'll do an interview. There'll be some articles. He's just he'll have that information to me to get that ball rolling this week. So looking forward to that, having my first sort of player come on and appear. And I'll be trying to get a couple of the SG Ball kids to come on and say hello at one point as well. Just sort of waiting to see how it all pans out. You know, how many, because with SG Ball, they make a lot of cuts to the team. They're trying to get the strongest side that can play like 9 or 10 rounds. And then those players sort of lead into and start to feed our Jersey Flag side, which, you know, the players that aren't eligible for SG Ball because they're too old are training full-time with Flag at the moment. But, yeah, we'll try and get a couple of those kids on once we find out, you know, what position they're going to be and they know a little bit more. That's what we're hoping for. Don't always get what you wish for, but we're in talks. We're having chats. Oh, that's okay, mate. You know, I was going to say something bad to that, something wrong, but I think you can imagine. You never have too much. But anyway, we will be competitive, Kangaroo, 100%.
The other day they had a game from 1993. They had a game from 1993. Aki was watching it. It was the Bulldogs versus the Bears. And as soon as I saw the game, I remembered it straight away. I was actually at the game. And it was tormenting to watch it again because we were leading 17-0 at half-time. And the Bears came back and were leading 18-17. After getting a penalty try under the post as well, they got an extra kick when Polomounta took the head off the try scorer after he got the ball down. And then Terry Lamb, I remember having 2 times an opportunity to kick a goal towards the end of the game and not making on both of them. It was I still was haunted by that. I was like, no, I don't want to watch this. No, this is not the game. I remember this. As soon as I saw it, I knew it was like, no, I don't want to see this game. Oh, but yeah, I know what you mean, Timmy. It's good to go back and watch those old games, mate. Yeah, and yeah, Cherry, mate, with the broken nose in that game as well, mate. When we actually thought he was going off, when he was down for the count, was it Kicko's leg that swung around and got him? Remember that one?
Bronson. Poor Petey would have been sad. You were sad that day, mate, when Cherry got hit by Kickow in the face. He said he's your goat. Yeah, I hope to meet you as well, Petey. I used to know all the Wiggles songs, and I've seen them at Dreamworld and stuff like that. So go the Bulldogs and go the Wiggles.
Welcome, Andy. Hope you're having fun over there, mate.
Yeah, and thank you for being a member as well. And thanks for coming and saying hi again to us this week, Andy. Really love it, mate. Get on the groups and talk to everyone, say hello, build the community. And look, one of our great, he's been on the show a few times, Brad. He'll be listening to this tomorrow, usually doing his work. He suggested we try and do some catch-ups and stuff like that. Now, I might not be able to get down to all things Bulldogs. I might not be able to go to all things Bulldogs. I just have to go for a little bit, guys, for a moment.
Go for it, mate.
Take care for me for a bit there, Gas.
All good. Yeah, so yeah, he did get Kickout's boot. That was probably the last boot you wanted to get in the game, Timmy. Yeah, size 17s. Gosh, yeah, not ideal, not ideal. So yeah, so keep your questions coming, guys. Yeah, we've got plenty of stuff to come today as well. So there's going to be a new segment that Michael's working on that's going to have some information and stats and all these sorts of things. And give us a updates, guys. I've got a new background setting now. Those Bulldogs that you see behind me, those were the ones that we got from the finals games last year, the ones that we were holding in the finals. But I've added a bit of blue trimming to them to make them stand out a bit. So give us your feedback. I've had to remove the banner because the banner is getting ready for use. It'll be heading out to Cogra soon, so that'll be offline and getting some game time. So yes, Cherry and so representing the Maltese Power. Yes, there you go. So he's got a supporter now over there, James. What do you got there, Timmy? Look at the depth of the season ahead. It'd be good to see Tuala get some opportunities. Yeah, look, if we've probably covered it in a few of the podcasts, but as you can see this year, we've got amazing depth heading into this season. You can probably see everyone who's trying to pick that Seraldo 17. The starting team is fairly locked in, most of us. You know, barring any injuries, we're all pretty confident with who our starting sort of 13 will be, but choosing the bench, I'm finding at the moment, is going to be the challenge for everyone. It's sort of, you know, a lot of people are sort of, so far from a lot of the respondents we've had, like some people are putting, Harry Hayes or Curran or Turpin, or there's quite a few different options in there. You know, Lipboy, Hopboy. There's a lot of options that people are selecting. So it's a good problem for us to have. Good depth. Having Leo Thompson coming into the team for us allows us to have sort of that dominant player, and then allows all our other players around him to sort of really have to fight for that position. So, you know, we've got a good opportunity there. Also, sort of O'Sullivan coming into the team, you know, and you've got obviously Mitch Woods is still gearing up to play his, you know, debut first grade game sometime this year. So it's a good problem to have for the Bulldogs. I'm sure you all are excited, as we all are, for what's going to come, and we're all hoping that we get off to a great start to the season, obviously in Vegas, and then when we come back for that first game against Canberra back in Australia. So Timmy's also giving us safety first with the 13. Yes, the bench is wide open. Yes, Timmy. I think there is we're going to have a lot of challenges this year. You know, we don't know what's going to happen yet with Origin. Carraz could be someone that potentially comes in for Lomax. You still got Critter, who's looking really good. He's going to still be in the team. You know, I can't see why Max King wouldn't be selected after what he did last year. He was very solid when given that opportunity. And then, you know, there's Birdo, who's always knocking on the door. I feel like he's potentially someone that they could be giving more of a chance. You keep doing the same thing, you're going to keep getting similar results. Burden could be someone who could help that Origin team. Timmy, a bit of a New England Patriots tragic, mate. That's all right. That's pretty good. Some of those new gear that they released today does look all right. That American flavour. Even the one with the logo, that big logo on the front. That looks pretty good. How does that look? I kind of like that. It's got. I would love it more if it had 23 on it, obviously, but it does have a good ring to it. What do you think about that, guys? Some of that gear. There's a few extra hats that they've loaded in there as well. So make sure if you're a member, you select your members' pricing on there as well. Go in there and have a look at that. Yeah, well, that's exactly right, James. So Sitili and Curran, and to be honest with you, is Curran going to be on our bench all the time? It's it's a question. Like, Harry Hayes is becoming someone who's locked in. Are we going to have potentially a backup hooker, someone who can cover that side? We still don't know really what's going to happen in the trials with the new rules. Is the 17 going to become 19? Does it mean we can carry 6 players on the bench and choose the 4 that we need during the game based on injuries or based on what you need for the game? If you're chasing points, if you're ahead, what kind of game you're trying to play. So yeah, I think we're going to have a lot of firepower. And Sitili, if he gets a good sustained time on the field without injuries, he had a pretty broken year last year. Started like a house on fire, and then had a pretty sort of broken up year. I think it will be a very good. And Curran's got a he wants to finish the year with a bang. Potentially, let's just say the Bears might not be premiership contenders in their first maybe couple of years. So his opportunity to do something special could be 2026. So while you've got that opportunity, he may as well try to do what Burton did before he left Panthers, kick out Critter. Try to get something under your belt. So, but yeah, I agree, Timmy. The merchandise does look pretty cool. So, and yeah, look, he could be phased out slowly. You're right, and that's the feeling. We've got a lot of depth coming through. There's a lot of players coming out. Jack Todd. If he doesn't have any more issues with his arms, if you've got other players, Underhill, some of these guys that start to come through the ranks, then yes, they will start looking towards the future. And unless they need to use Curran, unless he's required for whatever he's doing, then he'll be used unless he's not required. Hopefully his form's still very strong, and he generally, Josh, is a very consistent player, plays big minutes. He was very good for us last year when we had a lot of those injuries and suspensions. There was a few games he played 80 minutes, which was outstanding. He really puts in the hard yards, and you just have to sometimes put aside. Everyone has a bad game here or there, so I wouldn't put that against anyone. It can happen to everyone. Timmy's asking also if Curran's playing in the All Stars. I'm not sure yet, Timmy. Has anyone seen anything about the All Stars team? Have they named those teams yet? I'm not sure. I haven't seen any information on that yet. And I'm not sure, is the teams that go to Vegas, are they involved in the All Stars as well? I'm not sure. So if you've got any more information, Timmy, if you want to have a look at that as well and see what you can dig up, we can have a look at that. But if anyone's got anything else to ask, but it's been a very quick pre-season so far. I feel maybe because I've been counting down the nightly countdowns every day. Have any of you been reading those countdowns? So if you have, give us your feedback. I've got number 32 coming out today. And let's see if anybody can guess, since 1935, how many times have the Bulldogs scored 32 points? Let's see who can get the closest guess. I will say one thing: between 1935 and 1968, we only got 32 twice. Between 1935 and 1968, we only got 32 twice. But by the time we finished 2025, the number was a little bit more than that. Can anyone guess? Anyone guess how many times the Dogs have scored 32 points in a game? Thanks, Timmy. Timmy's saying that he enjoyed number 35. Yes, that was a very significant countdown. Number 35, obviously being aligned to our 1935 90-year anniversary, kicking off inaugural season, all of the above. So thanks, mate. Thanks for that. And Timmy's saying the teams will probably get announced the week of the second trial. There you go. So we scored 32 against South last year and against Canberra, correct? South Sydney was 32-0 in the game that we had against at the record score, the record crowd, 65,305 off memory. That crowd, the record crowd that we had, 65,305. So what have we got there? All Stars on the 15th of February. We play on the 14th, and then we head to Vegas. Yes. And that's Olivia Edwards. Welcome. I've been told Josh is playing in the All Stars game. Okay. There you go. So I'm not sure where that info is coming from, but there we go. So anyone can guess how many times the Bulldogs have scored 32 points in a game? Anyone want to have a stab at it? Yes, thank you. Timmy, you're usually one that can have a go at the stats. What do you think, mate? No, it's more than that. More than that. Keep going. It was very slow at the start for the first 29 years, or whatever it was. It was very slow, but then it really ramped up after that. Maybe the 3-point tries turning into 4-point tries helped that accelerate, maybe. So that did change as well, I think, in the 70s. So yeah, that might have changed things as well, or early 80s. So, but yeah, so that'll be coming out shortly. I'll be sending out number 32 today. So more than 26. I would love to say that it was 32. I usually look for those connections, but it's actually more than 32 as well. Yeah. I did find a few interesting ones. Well, I think, is it fair to say we've had 3 separate home grounds over the years? So we've had Belmore Oval, which they used to call it Belmore Oval, now Belmore Sports Ground. We also played at Sydney Showground. And we also obviously have Stadium Australia, and yeah, it's there's a lot of games played there. Sydney Showground, yeah. So, and did we have a temporary home ground at Cumberland once, or was that or was it? I think it might have been the other way. Parramatta might have had some work going on, and they came and joined Belmore Sports Ground for a period of time, where they had Belmore as their home ground as well. But yeah, I think for us it's been the 3 home grounds. But our record at Sydney Showground was very good as well. It was a good time for us when we had that stadium as average. Oh yeah, we shared Cumberland. There you go. So yep. Yeah. Interesting question there, James. So can you see Woods as a 14 like JT? Look, I think I said last week that I could see Woods also potentially playing as a cover for the number 9 position, but definitely utility value. Michael's even said it. He could potentially play 1, 6, 7, 9. He could cover a lot of positions. He's that kind of player. He's got that kind of ability, especially from what we've seen so far. Yes, he had a sort of a bit of a interrupted season as well in 2025, where he did have to suffer through a few injuries and a few setbacks. But yes, definitely could see him playing that kind of position for the Bulldogs. It's not a bad option for us to have someone like that coming off the bench as an impact player. I think for us, if this new rule with the 4/6, 19 comes in, it really could benefit someone like a Woods, who could potentially see his debut earlier than expected, if that was to take shape. But yes, I can see him potentially coming in there like that. So it does give us a bit of option, a bit of flexibility. But what I'm really looking forward to seeing this year, to be honest, is Lockie Galvin owning his number 7. From what we saw on the training paddock last week, and for those who watched the coverage that we posted live as well, and for those who came down as well, he is looking extremely sharp out there. He's very confident in what he's doing, in the calls he's making. He's got a lot more respect out of the players now because he's running the show as the 7 should. So he was doing that towards the end of the season last year, and another few months of training has really sort of cemented that for him in everything that he's doing. So really exciting stuff to see how Lockie will go. And also hopefully having Burden on the field for the majority of the year alongside him will be very exciting. So I think it was round 3 last year, the Bulldogs against the Titans, when Birdo did his knee after he was on fire that game. If you remember, he had that break and put Marnie back in under the post. But when we lost him, yes, Hayward came in and did a good job, and obviously we won those first few games of the year. But it didn't help him coming through for the rest of the year. It didn't help him obviously he had that strapping on the knee for a while. If you noticed, he's very, very selective about when he was putting up those huge torpedo bombs. Even though that's a strategy, I actually asked Serraldo about that one time, and his comment about that was they actually look at the opposition fullback and they determine sort of how many times Birdo's put a bomb to him, how many times he's actually caught the ball. For example, I asked him once about example last year. If you remember the first game we played against the Dragons, and we won that game, but there wasn't that many kicks that we did to Gutherson. But when I asked Serraldo about that, he said to me, he had the stats. He goes, he's caught 4 out of the 5 or whatever it was, Birdo bombs that have been put up at him, etc., or whatever it was. So he was sort of the detail, the analysis, everything they do is very spot on. But what they always look for in that situation, guys, is when Birdo puts up that bomb, it's unpredictable when it comes down. So when you're controlling the match, if you notice what the Bulldogs do, they'll kick deep, they'll kick long, they'll do what they have to do, and he puts a big kick on it. And then that run chase comes, led by Kikau. The run chase will come, the line's always set, and then the meterage coming back, we've got the best defense of restricting teams coming back off their line. So that's a controlled set when you do that. It's very smart, when you need to break the game open sometimes, yes, you can throw in that big torpedo bomb. And a lot of us was kind of a little bit frustrated last year thinking, could he have done a few more? Potentially, yes, could have done a few more. When you need to break things open, it is a very unpredictable, but it does take a lot of effort, that particular kick. And him having that sort of knee injury didn't help. So let's hope that comes good this year and we can be flexible in what we do. You've gone a little bit too far there, Timmy, but All will be revealed shortly. Yeah, thanks, Pete. So, yeah, I hope they bring it in as well. It'll make it a fairer playing field for all teams. Some teams will really benefit from having 19 more than others, especially teams that have got some good depth. I think we're in that position right now. I think we are a team that can pick 22 players potentially to play in our first 17, which is a good problem to have. So it's a good rule, and it'll allow you to be that little bit flexible. We got caught out last year a few times where we lost both our centres in the game. And I think centre for me is probably one of the hardest positions to fill during a game when most teams don't usually carry someone in that sort of position on the bench. So it's a really, tough defensive position. And if that position is not, it's okay sometimes in attack, but in defence it's more crucial. And that communication between whoever's in there and that winger and the inside play, it makes a big difference. And we got caught out there a few times not having that, but that's where something like that rule could help. What do you got there, Lena? So Finalata is a lock second row. Keep hearing he may run in the middle rotation. Very agile player with a great offload. Why do we keep turning plays? I wouldn't obviously believe everything that I'm hearing. He was training the other day. He was running with the edge back rowers as well. So that's sort of a little sign as well sometimes. But it's always good to have that coverage as well. So depending on what happens in the match, in the different circumstances, it's always great to have options. So yes, I think a player like Finau will be great for us as a lock second rower. But you have to remember we've got two pretty much locked in players in those positions that play 80 minutes. So when you've got players like Preston, Jacob Preston and Viliami Kikau that play 80 minutes, it's potentially just the lock position where somewhere like a Finau is going to be coming in. And at the moment, we've got that rotation between Jamin Salmon and Curtis Mann. So those two, Kurt Mann, sorry. So those two, it's that's sort of the way that Ciraldo's been going. So having options, if Finau can cover those three positions and then potentially play in the middle as well, kind of like coming in and doing something similar to what Sitili Tupanua does, then I think that will be a good option. But at the moment, if you look at the way the team is, someone like a Salmon for the team is an extremely important player. I know a lot of people have said that he's, people, whatever it is, people think he's a boring player or whatever it might be, but some of those kegs in a team are the most important players. And what he does, that's very important. His line speed, just the way that when he gets the ball, he gets it out to the back line. It's extremely important for us. So I think Ciraldo and the rest of the team know the importance of having Salmon in the team. So that's why I think it's a good option. But when you see Mann come on, the game changes again. Different type of player, different energy. It's a lot of teams are focused on that. Watch out when this is happening. Watch out when this player comes on. It's a good issue to have. James. Can't wait to see Birdo turn on his game this year, and of course, can't wait to see Carrez make a mark on Origin. 100%, mate. I think Burden, if you remember when he played Origin and he did well, and if you remember when he played even in Penrith and whatever he did, and even at the Bulldogs, how many times he's carried us on his back. Look at last year's semi-final against Melbourne, first game. Missing both our centres in a tough game. That was unbelievable effort that he almost got the job done on his own. So it's a big player that Burton has become, and for me he's still only getting better. So really hope he stays injury free, because like I said earlier, I really can see him playing as an Origin starter. Like, I wouldn't put it past him. If they were to use him, then he would be amazing. Like, let him own that position. He's that kind of player. But for the Bulldogs, I think watch out. The Galvin and Burden show is something that we're going to be talking about in 10 years' time. About, we were there to see the start of this. And look at where we are now. Look at what we've achieved. That's my call. So I'm hoping those years don't go too fast. I want to slow them down and enjoy them, especially as we get on in age. But we used to say that before. When we had Shifty and when we had Turvey and we had all these other players coming through, and Hodgkinson, and there's some good times. And I see now something really exciting about to happen with the Bulldogs. So yeah, look, I think I just covered that, Leonidas. So yeah, look, Fino is there as a cover. He's going to be great as a backup. He's still not probably even going to play in Vegas potentially. So at the moment, when the Bulldogs have got the team that they want to have on the field, we are a very strong team. And having another off season under their belt, they will be very good together. So I think I asked O'Sullivan how important Salmon is to the team, and he was even referencing when he played with him at Penrith how important he is. So it's it's exciting times. And don't forget, Salmon's got a premiership under his belt too. Yes, Pete, I agree, mate. So great communicator in defence. Does a lot of the hard work. Every team needs that kind of player. That sort of. If you've ever watched the Tour de France, there's always the guy that's winning the races, and there's all these other guys that are doing the jobs. I think, what do they call it? The domestiques. These guys that climb the hills, do all the hard work, while the one guy that gets all the limelight, that's usually your halves. And then everyone else is doing all that hard work behind the scenes to pave the way. Good evening, Mike. That's okay, mate. Haven't been able to attend. Yeah, mate, we're all excited and can't wait for the season to start. Good to see you still brandishing another one of our logos, mate. Up the doggies. Welcome, Proste. Mike, you're very close, mate. You're very close. You're probably the closest of anyone so far. So yeah, so you're very close. Nearly there. Yeah, thanks, Timmy. Yeah, the combinations that they're building are fantastic. And it was always great watching, Hazem and Shifty combine. I mean, if you have to look at the current sort of generation these days of wingers, are big, solid, tall sort of players with great aerial jumps. Majority of the players. 2004, we had probably two of the shortest wingers, if you can remember, two very different wingers, Matty Utai and Hazem El Masri, but both of them absolutely used the potential they had to the max. Utai was that blockbusting, slowly built to the ground, solid player that kind of crabbed across field sometimes, but great finisher. Used to slam that ball down, if you remember, when he got close to the line. I played a lot of Oztag with both of Hazem and Matty Utai, and me and Matty Utai used to do something. We'd go out and play a game of Oztag with our team, and then when the game was over, we'd go and say, okay, two of us, we'd walk around going, oh, that team looks like they're short. We'd jump on. We'd help the team. We'd both score 2 or 3 tries each. We'd jump back off again. We'd go to another game. Yep, we'd end up playing 3 or 4 games a night. Then I'd drive him home. Said, off you go, buddy. Go back to your wife and kids. He was very early on the wife and kids, Matty Utai. But also liked a little bit of the Oranges. So still did well to play first grade doing all that. But Haslam, another player altogether. You know, wasn't the fastest player, wasn't the strongest player, but watched his body extremely well, knew exactly the limitations he could do. Awesome finisher, and everything he did to the max with what he was given. You know, I probably said it before. In his first ever soccer game he played for us at National Sports, we played at Curry Park. He scored 6 goals off, kicking the ball with left and right, both feet. Amazing, amazing. He was actually a better soccer player than he was a league player, but he had a great career with rugby league, and he's got. When I do these countdowns, Haslam is littered with the records for the Bulldogs. Some of that probably will never be touched. So amazing stuff, Haslam. So trial against the Cowboys. Yes, we'll be there, mate. So if you come and look for the banner, which is not there now, it's taken down. It's getting ready for the season. But yes, I'll be there. Myself and Aki will be there for the Cowboys game, ready to start the season. Especially since we have to wait pretty much another month to see the team play at Canberra, which we'll be also attending. So definitely will be there for the game at Jubilee. So if you're coming down, guys, come and say hello. Come and support the team. It'll be great to see the blue and whites out there running around. Very exciting stuff. Yes, Timmy, probably the closest you'll find To'o a bit like you, To'o. I just think To'o probably for me has a higher work rate, puts in a lot more runs, a lot more sort of efforts. Utai, when he had the ball in his hand, and he didn't like passing it very much at all, which not a lot of them need to do. But when he had the ball in his hand, he was very, very damaging runner. But To'o has taken that to another level. How many times do you watch him play and you think, oh, he hasn't had that big a game. He's run a few balls. You look at this like another 200 meters or 220. Where did he get the meters from? Just effort, always behind the scenes, just running the ball all the time. Bailey Hayward looking at, yes, we watched him throw quite a few passes off the deck at the training, and you probably can see some of it on the live footage that we had. Definitely a lot more comfortable running the plays at training. He also had a few of the other sort of hookers running around with him, and he was owning that session. He was taking the guys, taking the guys through their paces and doing very, very well. He's definitely grown a lot in the off season. If you remember last year, the whole intention was to start Bailey and start him playing 20 minutes, after sort of Marnie would come off. But when Burden got injured early in the season, they had to change that around. So that was always the plan from the start of the year. We actually found out later. So, but yeah, definitely Hayward will be ready, and his work rate will be very good. And yes, I agree. I think that will be a very good combo. Hayward, Galvin, and Galvin Preston, and a lot of different combinations. I've been to a lot of training sessions. I mean, I used to go down to Belmore from in the 80s, in the 90s, from a long time ago, and I've seen a lot of teams, but this is probably the most united team I've seen for a long time. Like the way that the whole team just loves being together. And I can give you an example. Like they will have a certain start time and a certain finish time. They get there way earlier than they're supposed to, and way later. And even the time they have off during the middle of the day between sessions, that everything they do is together. They've all got best mates together. They hang out together. It's just the camaraderie in the team. They all enjoy each other's time. It's the combinations across the board are going to be amazing. Remember the amount of times Haslam would tow it back in from the sideline to score tries? Yes. Yeah, mate. It was so many exciting things. I mean, Haslam, I think, scored also. What he had him the other day, 34 points, which is still the record in one game for the Bulldogs. I think he scored 4 tries that day and kicked 9 from 10. But also he scored 4 tries on 2 occasions. The only one that's beaten him is this man Nigel Vangana, who scored 5 tries in one game. If anybody remembers that game. So imagine it was a crab. Oh, yeah, look, I think at the moment, Nigel, I'd rather have a Stephen Crichton over Nigel Vangana any day at the moment. The way that just watching, if you watch Stephen Crichton train, it's a thing to, it's a sight. There's no shortcuts in anything he does. It's precision on everything he wants to do. Everything he's doing is just simulating what he wants to be the best it can be. If he doesn't get it right, he does it again. I mean, I said it last week when the training was finished last week and everyone was off signing autographs for everyone, which was amazing. He went and did his own training session with a few of the coaching staff with some ball skills and things he was doing, which he was doing on his own, just with the help of the training staff. He didn't listen to the noise about everyone screaming his name, wanting a signature. He waited till he finished what he had to do. Then he went and gave his time and did everything and gave us an amazing shout out to All Things Bulldogs as well. So, yeah, amazing guy, and he's got the respect of everyone in the team. Just a real leader, but everything he does, he leads by example, and he does it his own way as well. It's really great for us to have a player of that caliber in our team and also be our leader. Which has made a massive difference. You can see him being there, how much it's done for the team. So, and when he's on, what you saw against Canberra is just the tip of the iceberg. Welcome, Nicholas. First time here. Welcome. Will Burton and Preston re-sign? Is there any news on that? Yeah, I think you would have seen Gus. We spoke earlier about Gus talking about Burton. I think he's still signed until the end of 2027 anyway, but he's not on the open market potentially until November 1 this year. But definitely he is as Gus, in his words, he's a Bulldog, and there's no problem there. He's a big part of our team, and I think you build your team around a number of key players. All the good teams do that. You might let a few other players go, and you've seen that with Penrith, you've seen that with Melbourne. The core players they want to keep stay, and you've got to lose other players as their value goes up as you bring in more younger players in. But Burton for me is one of those players, and Preston. Preston definitely is a player that I can't see the Bulldogs letting them go. As long as they want to be in the team, as long as they want to be here, then we're happy. We'll be doing whatever we can to keep both of these players. And for me, Preston is the kind of player that if we didn't have a Stephen Crichton, Preston for me would be my captain. I know Kikau is the vice captain, but Preston for me is that kind of leader and player in that team. And when you see him and you see what he does, he's just an awesome athlete, but a very, very professional. And I honestly cannot remember seeing him have a bad game. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. He's that consistent of a player. He's always putting in awesome efforts every game he plays. Yes, it was against South, mate. Yes. Yep, it was an interesting game, that one. But anyone got any other memories of some amazing games they witnessed out there? There's always some good stories, some exciting games we've seen in the past. But yeah, Mike. Yep, echoing what I just said there, mate. Yeah, definitely see Preston being in that mould of that sort of Josh Jackson, who had obviously was a super nice guy, had the respect of every player as well. So definitely a player that you build a team around. That's for me a Preston in the team. From the first time he came in there a few years ago, you could see he was something special, and he's been rock solid ever since. Nicholas, if Galvin and Woods are the future halves, where would Birdo fit in? Well, that's the $1 million question that we all keep asking ourselves. But having said that, how good is that of a problem to have? So at the moment, the way I see it is Galvin and Burton are the halves. That's the team. They're the players that we've got. They are the best players now in their position. And the way that Galvin finished the year, the way he started his preseason, he is playing like a number 7. So for anyone who wants to say he's a 6, he's not a 7, etc., have a good look at the game, understand the game, and see how he plays on the field. See where he is on the field, where he's running, what he's doing. He's playing like a 7. So as long as he and the Bulldogs start having solid results and good results, I can't see that combination changing. As long as the two of them are doing the job, I can't see that changing. What it does for Woods, etc., well, it's one of those things. If things happen, if you've got injuries or whatever, it's a good problem to have. So and Pete, as he's saying there, Burton and Woods can both play multiple positions. So yes, we will definitely see how that unfolds. So I think Mick should be arriving back very soon now. But 1998, yes, how good was that game? That was an amazing game. Parramatta fans, they thought they were in the grand final. 18-2 up, 10 to go, and then who started it? Robert Ralph. Little pass on the inside as well to Rocket Silver, and off he went. I mean, that game, how good was that? But I watched the highlights again the other day, and somebody was pointing out, if you remember Paul Carriage on the other side, they said this guy was surely match fixing. If you saw the way he was playing. Welcome back, Nick.
G'day, everybody. Welcome. So I'll just start now.
Mate.
What was I talking about? I'm joking. What have we been talking about? Catch me up.
Oh, mate. So yeah. So we've got a few questions there about female basic potentially playing. He's there to play lock the second row, and then whether he's going to play. He's been training in the middles, but asking about replacing Salmon. We sort of explained the role of Salmon in the team.
Nice.
And yes, so we had a few other. We had the guys were trying to guess also for the countdown coming out today how many times the Dogs have scored 32 points in a game. So we had a few guesses at that, but that will be revealed shortly. But I can say that Bulldog Mike is the closest so far. We also had a new person join us, so Nicholas Kane, welcome. So 7171. So asking whether Burton and Preston will re-sign and any news on that. And also asking if Galvin and Woods are the future halves, where would Birdo fit in? So maybe you can just keep adding to that if you like.
Look, Preston will be signed up. So we've got players like Hayes till 29. I think Hayward until 28 or 29. There's a core there of young fellas on good contracts. I think, that we're going to lose some, that's for sure. But I can't see it being Jacob Preston. I think he loves the Bulldogs, and he'll become a wealthy human at the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs, and be part of our success moving forward. Birdo, look, I think it'll come down to what Birdo wants to do. What we won't have is a situation where Birdo goes where there's a media release from some local Bankstown commentator or reporter who says that the Bulldogs haven't made an offer to Burton, and basically he could be going somewhere else. That's not going to happen. They'll be in talks, they'll be in discussions, and it'll come down to how he fits in with us. And also comes down to form. If he's plays to that superstar level long enough and we're a premiership threat and emerge into that every year because of Burton, why wouldn't you have all of these players? As Pete said before in this little comment, I can see Woods playing. He's got a great running game. He can play 6. He can play 1. And he's nuggety enough and building his body up enough. I can see them actually like integrating him into the side from one of those bench roles and getting some minutes in the middle here and there and using his line speed similar way, give Bailey a break, whatever. I could see that. But I could also see that they would go Turpin and Gordon Chan Kum Tong for that role as well. But we might have some injuries. Woods comes off the bench. He might move into the halves and someone else will accommodate and play 13 or whatever. Or a whole bunch of different things that could happen in these regards because these footballers, as I was talking about this total football link with the Dutch soccer coach and stuff, and then later on, it expanded. You've got all these players that can just play so many roles. Now, look, you do need. I was having a good chat with D, who's going to be doing part of our previews, coming up with all these stats and stuff. Have you talked about that yet at all, Gas? Have you mentioned that?
Just at the start, mate, just a little bit, but said that you'd expand on that. Yeah.
Well, we'll sort of go into that. We're having a chat with D about it, and he's talking about the importance of having really good centres. Like you lose a good centre from a team, and you don't have someone who's sort of ready to go to replace them. It can really affect your communication and timing and everything with the whole team out wide, and can set your team back. And I definitely agree. I think when we look at Penrith in the first half of the year last year, really struggled out wide, and it was a double whammy for them because they had a new 6 and a new centre basically. Although he played a few games, it was his first time sort of starting there. And defensively, they were really vulnerable, especially when Mitch Kenny didn't play, or they were missing 1 or 2 players from their spine. They just didn't have that depth that they normally do. And see, Teddy May, before he had his off-field discretion, was being groomed for that specialist role. Now, when I look at a lot of the teams now with players coming through, Gus was talking about young Tuapanua in Harold Matts. He's come to the club as a half, but he's too big. And then he played centres and he was absolutely dominant. But he'll probably continue to grow and he'll probably be a forward by the time he gets to grade. A lot of those centres, when specialist sort of centres in the juniors, not many of them go all the way through to first grade as a centre. What we'll see is a lot of these really talented, skillful players as they start to get bigger, and that their pathway may not be at fullback. You might have 2 or 3 really good young fullbacks. They might have to debut at wing. Some might decide they're going to be a centre. You've got so many halves that something's got to give. Okay, here's a centre pathway for you. And then they work on that combination and being a specialist centre over 2 or 3 years. And a lot of clubs are sort of doing that. And now we're also seeing clubs realising that there's some of these bigger guys can't, like the Latrells and the Toms. That's why they've sort of been put to centre, because they can do things really well there. But as a fullback, having to do all that workload, it's too taxing. They just can't deal with it. So, the reason I like having the discussion about these players coming through and where they all fit is that under that total football, having backs that could, having strikers that could go back and play like a really good defender and anywhere sort of on the field just enabled the team to have so much flexibility, and they were so good at playing their system when something would go wrong, or if they get injuries and whatever else, and it just enabled them to, and they build up their passing was elite and stuff like that. And I start to watch, most clubs are doing this now, but a lot of these players are so talented, like even the front rowers can throw bullet 30-meter passes, can jump up and catch, not all of them, but, there's just so much skill across the land. And a lot of these guys, you just look at the Harry Hayeses and the Satili Tupanuas and think about some of these big guys coming through in the centres as juniors. Jacob Preston, another one. By the time they get to first grade, they move into forwards. They're sort of like normal size forwards, 6'2", 100 to 105 kilos. But they've got that mentality, and I've said it before, of playing 80 minutes. They've got an 80-minute mentality. They're not looking for a break after 20. And these are the players that work so well in systems. And it's also the other way. You got these ex-halves like Kurt Mann and ex-spine players, Jamin Salmon, who's played centre, 5'8", can play on an edge because he's skillful enough. Plays 13. Now, he struggles to play 40 minutes straight. So you have two of them there that can play at that high level, go, helter-skelter for 20, 30 minutes, swap with the other guy who does the same thing, does it a bit differently, achieves the requirements of the role, team loses nothing, actually gains when they bring on man, and that works. But in having that interchange in that role, that means we sort of we're sort of down a big guy or a guy that could come on and play more forceful in knocking the line down in the way that a lot of Canterbury fans would love to see. So if a Finau Latu, for example, can take the ball to the line, throw some good passes, find his front, make quick play the balls, communicate in defence, and be a real link between the halves and the ruck, and can go non-stop, that enables us to then carry a Saluka Fafita on the bench and come on for 20 minutes and just go helter-skelter and help us keep that thing going. Or even better, it allows us to say, we're going to carry that. Jack Underhill's going to play, Lipoy's going to play, and we're going to actually build their minutes slowly so they're ready to replace Leo or Max at some point in the season because we've been building their minutes. It's hard to build their minutes when our system requires us to have those two interchange locks, but they're so essential to our game in making sure the system's there, and the system's what carries us through. So look, it's quite a bit for some to get their head around. It's a lot for me to get my head around, but I've spent a lot of time watching it, and that's the way I see it. Serrato might go, I don't know what you're talking about. Probably would. I don't know, but that's how I see it. See it through another lens. I'm sure there's some stuff there that would make some sense. Well, I know it does to me, and I think a lot of people that keep coming here regularly would agree with a lot of that. What's your thoughts on that, Gas?
Yeah, mate, it's pretty much what I've said while you were away as well. So very important those bits and pieces about that as well. So yeah, so a few of the guys here, I asked them what some of their highlights, some of the best games they've seen. So Mike Gould, he says he was at the 1938 grand final when we won 19-6 when Joe scored. I think it was Duncombe that scored the other try. So yeah. So yeah, that was our first grand final. 20,000 crowd at the SCG for that one. And yes, Martin Bella didn't have the best game in 1994, unfortunately.
No.
That was on the back foot from there, and Paul Osborne probably had the best game of his life in that game as well.
Best 8 minutes of his life.
On the flip side of Martin Bella, but and the
Marty
Mother's
had a
Day
great
game,
season.
yeah, Mother's Day game. I think that was 2014, wasn't it, Tim? Wasn't it? Tim Lafayette might have scored a hat trick in that game off memory. I think that was at the stadium. At Homebush. So pretty okay crowd maybe that game as well, about 22,000.
All right, well, what we're going to do, I'm just going to introduce you to Dave's Deep Dive. So just to give you a little bit of a taste about some of the, can we see that on the screen? Yeah, it looks all right. I'll make it a bit bigger. So what we'll be doing is we had Dogfather's Keys to Victory and that sort of stuff. So we'll do some videos and some may be live podcasts, some may be just, videos that we upload. But basically, he's just going to go in and do a deep dive about specific statistics that could be good for people who like to have a punt, but most of all, just interesting things to give you an idea. And not all of these things are going to come out in the mainstream. So for this one here, the round one focus is that the Bulldogs have never lost a round one match in any season, which they've actually gone on to win the comp. I think Mike Cool would love that one, and good to see you back here, buddy. All 8 of Canterbury's premierships were preceded by a round one victory. So if we don't beat the Dragons, it's like the 50-point thing. If you concede 50, you can't win the comp. We probably can't win the comp. So don't bet on us. Or gamble responsibly, whatever. While history alone doesn't determine, it remains a fascinating consistency in the club's most successful seasons. Firing blanks early, nice way of putting it. The Bulldogs are undefeated in round one matches against St. George. We've faced the Dragons twice in round one and won both encounters. Last year at Cogra, 28-20, and also in 2005, we won 46-28. Cameron Slorado, he's never lost a game as a head coach against the Dragons. He's got a 4-0 record against the Dragons, and that's the current winning streak dating back to 2023. And something for the punters. Across the Bulldogs' last 4 wins over the Dragons, Canterbury has scored 20 points or more in every match. And the combined total points have been 38 or more in every single game. So things for you to keep an eye on. Pretty sure the Bulldogs were leading at halftime in all 4 contests. Final word, history does not win footy games, players and performances do, but heading to round one, the long-term trends, recent form and coaching matchups all quietly lean in Canterbury's favour. And if we can blah, 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 blah. Beautiful. So we're well positioned statistically and historically to smash the Dragons in round one. And if we win round one, we're positioned to win the comp. Another thing that we're going to do as well is a lot of milestones will be talked about, and we'll have these posted, so they will depend. So a player might be, for example, have played 45 games. So you'll know that such and such is 5 games off their 50th game, or 5 tries off their 50th try, or 5 wins off their 50th win, that sort of stuff like that. So it's little milestones for us to keep an eye out and celebrate. And we'll announce those as we go, maybe on the podcast, and we might sort of do a couple of side posts as well, if that makes sense. Specific statistics. Check your logistic statistics. Anyway, anyone got any other challenges? And I reckon, look, honestly, I reckon that deserves a super chat payment of at least 50 cents. Mike says, and getting a victory against Dragons would be very handy because we would have an 18-day turnaround against the Raiders. Well, either way, 18-day turnaround is a big deal because, look, if you go back and watch the Panthers last year in round 1 against the Sharks are ready. Panthers treated that game like a grand final. Like we saw that little chip from Cleary. We saw Isaiah doing something he normally doesn't, and he scores. And some of that stuff we didn't see again until late in the season. You know, they use things that they normally wouldn't do in a normal round 1 match. Like in a World Club Challenge match, they would never do anything like that. I know people think you've got to do everything to win, but the war is winning the comp. And that they knew their team, they knew their artillery, they knew that where they were weak, they knew they were going to concede, they knew there was going to be problems at certain times. And they were 2 minutes away from making another grand final. And I think they would have beat the Storm if they made it, just quietly. So if anyone thinks they've gone away, good luck. But the point I'm saying is that Vegas is a big deal. And for us with an 18-day turnaround, it's a huge deal. Right? We can go there and really set the tone big time. And if they don't, they've got 18 days to understand where they are, what's their identity, where they went wrong, and how they quickly fix it. And can you imagine waiting 18 days after losing when you put it all on the line to win? How the build up for that would be. So, and against the Raiders in Canberra on a Thursday night, hopefully the Bulldogs fans all turn up and sell it out again. I can't wait to see that.
I don't even want to consider a loss, mate. Hopefully. Tim, I think you should check again, mate. I'm pretty sure that was in 2014, Timmy. I know because I wasn't here in 2015. I was working overseas. Just check again, mate. I'm pretty sure that was 2014.
What was in 2014?
He's the game that Bulldogs beat the Dragons on Mother's Day, 38-6, when Tim Lafai, I think, scored 3 tries. Yes. I think Mick Ennis might have been the captain that day.
Well, what year was it? I
think it was 2014. So Mother's Day, what's that, about May?
Yeah. It's usually the 11th of May. Round 9, Sunday, the 11th of May, Bulldogs 38, Dragons 6, 2014, Timmy.
Sorry, Timmy. Right score, Timmy. Sorry, Timmy.
I was going to do something.
No.
There's Timmy screaming. Oh, good. So how are we going? We've made $3. We make another $47. Somebody wins a prize, guys.
Mike Cool wants a challenge, mate. He'll get it before the stream ends, he says.
There you go.
G'day, Joby.
Welcome, Joby. Good to see you, brother. Look, guys, just something a little bit, and look, I might as well ask you for money in another way. I'm actually going to do a challenge in March, so I'll be walking for mental health for veterans, people who go and put their lives literally at risk so that we can have freedom and whatever. But this isn't political. This is what people do. So I need to walk 3Ks every day of March, which is a big deal for me. I know I can do it, and I will do it. It'll be all on my little Galaxy watch. Little plug for Samsung there.
Dodgy knee.
I need to ask them for a contra deal. Although I think I need to approach Ray-Ban. That's who I need to speak to. Because the dog father just organically promotes Ray-Ban every day. Maybe they might give some discounts for Bulldogs, all things Bulldogs fans, potentially. Something like that. There you go. Timmy's conceded. Well done, Timmy. But look, guys, on all things Bulldogs, I've posted it on my main page. Yeah, you just click the link and you can go donate to the cause. We've already raised $100. Big thanks to Dave and to Elaine and a couple other friends of mine already who've donated already. So my goal is about $1,000. We're already 10% the way there, and I've got about 32, 33 days before it starts. So would love help with that. I know, give me money here, give me money there, give me money everywhere is what I'm saying. And have we got that GoFundMe for Vegas yet? Is that up and running yet?
It's never too late, guys.
I know where
the tickets are sitting there waiting, but we just need to get the right funds for them.
That's it. So, super chat, 11 grand. YouTube will take about 3, or I'll give you my PayPal details. How's that sound? Nah, I don't even think I would be able to get my passport sorted in time, to be honest. I think I wouldn't be able to go. But I think you've got a passport, Gas, so if you want Gas to go, pay up. Mate. Mate,
I think you wouldn't even cargo.
You wouldn't even fit my head in his. He'd have to pay a $70,000 surcharge for his luggage.
I'd need a cargo, mate. You know,
need one of those big army. What do they call them? The big planes, the Hercules.
Yeah.
You need a Hercules to get me over there.
Or maybe we can do what they did in that movie Trading Places with the gorilla. He was in the cage transporting him with Eddie Murphy.
Oh, some great movies back in the day. I can start swimming. Yeah. I'm a pretty fast swimmer, actually. Oh, Timmy misses you, Mike. Timmy's had to go and get his own stats because you were doing it for him for a while there, Mike. You're doing it for everyone. But anyway, guys, get behind Dave's deep dive and we'll get him on talking about some stuff. And Dave actually does a lot of the Buzz 360 stuff. He gives me a lot of ideas for that. And we turn it into something funny for people who are still into that. We've got a bit there to do. So I just laugh at some of the stuff I get sent when I think about it. But how are we traveling? Is there anything else we're supposed to talk about in regards that we haven't covered yet? Or
no, mate, we're all good.
Tay Cochran, we talk about him yet?
No, we haven't spoken about him, mate.
Yeah, so Gus basically said that Tay Cochran is one of his favourites. And, he's desperate for Tay to do well in the NRL, which is fantastic. And he's had his first pre-season training with the boys in the top 30. So he's one that we're pushing hard for a spot. So we'll see Tay play New South Wales Cup again this year, and he should be a lot better for the run. And hopefully young Cade Dykes, he gets going as well. But, yeah, lots of people to look at. AJ Jones, as I said, Lipboy Hotboy, Jack Underhill, Jack Todd, Daniel Slurk-Fafita, Samuel Hughes. Don't forget about him. Young Macca reminded me about Sam the other day. Don't forget about Sam. These guys all want to be Bulldogs. They don't want to go anywhere. And that's only good for us. They rated all the forward packs today. There was a big thing that come out, and I think we were rated about 14th or 15th in the forward packs. Bring it on. Bring it on. That's all I can say. Bring it on. You want to discount the blooding that they've done of a lot of young kids that are going to be NRL players and play 50 to 100 games minimum. That's all right. Look past them. Just because they don't know their names doesn't mean they're not there. And, Gus is pretty cocky about Finau Latu, I can tell you that much. He's pretty cocky about Jacob Preston. And he said a lot about Jack Todd and a lot about AJ Jones. So get excited, guys. Get excited. Look, they got the Roosters first. I think the Broncos second and Melbourne third. I think any of those three are fitting. And I think if you go, look, if every team plays on its merits, has no injuries, and you compare the best forward pack with the best bench, I think it'd be a really tough scoring system. And I think they did the scoring based on, where does the player rank, and then they add all the scores together and it come up with that. But what I think they don't I think what they discount is we have improved our depth where we've got a lot of young players like Lipboy Hotboy, like Jack Todd, who have made their debuts, and third seasons for Harry Hayes and Bailey Hay. All these things are going to count big time in our depth, and just the fact that you got a Sam Hughes and Daniel Saluka for feeder, who are going to be more prepared for longer minutes and ready to step up if Leo or Max are injured. So just Leo coming to this club is just such a big deal for the depth that's behind him. And that's what makes us, and I agree with Joby, better than about 14th or 15th. I think our pack will hold its own against anyone in the comp now. Well, let's bloody hope so.
Well, you're not the
Get
best
excited.
Not the best defensive team if you're 14th, so that's okay. Bring it on.
Yeah.
Not a challenge.
Yeah. And conceded the least amount of meters from any team.
Yes.
In the last 2 years. So
yes,
keep underrating us. That's all right.
That's okay.
JB can't wait to see him prove them wrong. That's right. We love to be the underdogs. We are the dogs.
That's it. Love being the underdogs.
All right, guys. Well, I'm sorry about tonight, but I'm sure Gas did a great job, and it looked like the viewers went up when he was there, and they went down when I came back on. So, although they've gone up again now, so that's good. But great work, everyone. As I said, lots to look forward to. Trials are coming up. Going to see some young guns have a big crack against the Cowboys at Cogra. Great to see you, JB. And that's 100% right, Mike. It's not the size of the dog in the fight, the size of the fight in the dog. That's right.
And it's also not about those individual stats that each player's got. It's about how they work in a team,
exactly,
which is where we're excelling. So they can count all the stats they want individually, but it's how we put them together.
That's my last point we're going to make. Actually, I love what the guru said about Leo Thompson. Actually, he sort of compared him to what a Moses Leota could become. And it was the same with Fisher Harris. It was rare that they had massive meters, those guys, at any point. If there were games where Penrith were just rolling and in the opposition's 50 all the time, they would get heaps of meters because they'd be used effectively in attack where Penrith had lots of possession and whatever else. But most games where they just grinded teams down, worked them through the middle and all but did their job. And he said something about setting the tone. Leota doesn't need to make 180 meters or 160 meters to set the tone for his team. It's the contact he makes when he hits that opposition prop where they sort of think twice about where they're running next time. And the fact that he'll do it again and again and again the whole time he's out there. And then when he runs the ball, he's just consistently, you rarely see him get put on his ass. I actually watched Marnie put him on his ass once last year, which was great to see. But funnily enough, the next play, they made a break. Something in that as well. So I love the comparison with Thompson for that. Thompson doesn't need to come to us and make 200 meters every match. But if he goes out there sets the tone, has a real presence, gets a good play the ball away, occasional offload, and sets it up for Maxi King off the next rung and vice versa. What you've got is a platform and a tone. And I actually really like the Guru said about that, the Rugby League Guru. Check them out. They're all mates with Bloke in a Bar and all that sort of stuff. Listen to all their shit as well. But, yeah, I really like that. I thought that was good insight. And because everyone has just become so stats obsessed. If you make these stats, you're a good player. And if you don't, you're not. And it's like Farmworth shits on Crichton because his stats are way better. Okay. You can have that if you want, but give me Stephen Crichton every day of the week.
Yep.
But not saying I wouldn't have Herbie Farmworth in my team because he plays with a lot of effort and he plays tough.
Yep.
And he's a good player, very good player.
Mm. Yep.
Connections are very important as well, 100%. You're awesome, Gas, and love the content, Mick. Appreciate everything you do. Thank you so much, Tim.
Thanks, Timmy. Thank you, Pete.
The enforcer, that's the line's job, exactly. The line,
That's it.
the line doesn't have to sit there and hunt everything. The rest of the pack can do that, but the lion sorts it all out, doesn't he? The male, the king.
How many times
king
you
of the
see
jungle.
the start of the game? How many times you see the start of a game where the big forward is dominating early and he'll go off for 20 minutes and come back and he'll still get man of the match because that laid the foundation, that set the platform.
Just something in Pete's message there, just a little, I don't know. The enforcer, that's the lion's job. Well, the king of the jungle is the lion.
Yes.
And we've got the king. We've got Max King, and he's kept his number 8 jumper. And he wants to be the king of the pack. So maybe that that competition to be the top dog drives us even further, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Go Max King.
Yes.
Gas didn't let any tries in while I was off. Oh, I knew he wouldn't. You know, it's the system. We got the system. The system works, you know. It's very much Serrato system, the way we run this podcast. It's and here's Robin K. Welcome to you, Robin. Feel free to join the channel. Like and guys, make sure you like this YouTube podcast. Go put a comment on whatever. Give us an idea for next week to talk about anything. It helps promote it. Okay.
Yep.
Like it, share it, invite your friends along, and that's about it. No breaking down the fence. That's it. The fence wasn't broken tonight.
That's it.
The blue brick wall. Don't break the fence.
That's it.
Thank you, everyone. And I'm not going to say everyone tonight, but big thanks to everyone who's come on. It's been a big night. Really big numbers across there. So well done. We're getting excited. The footy's back on soon. Thank you so much, Gas. You've done a wonderful job. And thank you to everyone for your contributions. Join the channel. Doesn't cost much. Help us pay for all this crap. And we'll keep trying to make it. Look, see me little dog father there. He's got his Ray-Bans on. He's got his Gamble Responsibly. Put it all on the dog shirt from Footyhead. You can get that shirt. You can win that shirt.
That's it. And Timmy, for those who are asking and guessing, it was actually 40 times. You'll see it on the. It's gone live now. Countdown. 40 times the Dogs have scored 32 points. However,
wow,
like I said, between 1935 and 1968, they only scored 32 twice. So most of it's happened after that. Yeah.
I think 4-point tries helps in that equation.
That's what I was saying before, yeah. But when it came to 33, we've only scored 33 twice in all those years. So there you go.
All right, people.
Thanks,
Great
Mike.
seeing you all.
Thanks, guys.
We'll do some more stuff for you this week. Some more articles will be coming out. There'll be St. George Dragons top 5 players that need to improve. I'll probably put Kyle Flanagan in there, but I might not. We'll see what happens with that one. But, yeah, love yous all, as Jeff Fennick would say. Go the Dogs. Thank you
Go the
very much.
doggies.
Go the Dogs.
See you guys.
Yo, what up, guys? Want to give a massive shout out to All Things Bulldogs. If you guys haven't watched their podcast, check them out. Let's go.
Hey guys, Tuesday nights, All Things Bulldogs podcast. Make sure you get onto it. Go the doggies.
Shout out All Things Bulldogs.
Every Tuesday night, mate.
All Things Bulldogs, mate.
All Things Bulldogs, YouTube, Tuesday night.
Tuesday
live.
night. That's it. Every week, mate. Every week.
Things Bulldogs. Big shout out. Up the doggies.
Every Tuesday night we do a podcast, mate. We're big supporters, mate. All Things Bulldogs. Yeah, yeah. Josh.